Ever imagined what it would be like to step back into the 1700s? Picture this. The year is 1901. A pair of British teachers, Charlotte Ann Moberly and Eleanor Jourdain, embark on a journey crossing the English Channel to experience the grandeur of the Palace of Versailles. As they stroll through the palace's stately gardens, they are drawn to the Petit Trianon, a charming chateau nestled within the expansive grounds. This intimate residence, with its elegant architecture and intricate gardens, was the favored retreat of the ill-fated Queen Marie Antoinette. As the teachers explore the chateau, they marvel at its rich history. The air is ripe with the echoes of courtly intrigue, the whispers of royal scandals, and the faint rustle of silk gowns. The Petit Trianon, a symbol of the Queen's taste for luxury, stands as a silent witness to the bygone era of opulence and excess. The day is like any other, filled with the usual sounds, the rustle of the leaves in the wind, the distant chirping of birds, and the soft murmur of fellow tourists. The sunlight filters through the trees, casting dappled shadows on the cobblestone paths. Everything is as it should be, or so it seems. But then, something unusual happens. The atmosphere begins to shift. The air, once warm and balmy, turns chilly. The sunlight dims, as though obscured by an unseen cloud. The familiar sounds of the present fade away, replaced by the unfamiliar cadence of the past. The teachers look around, their eyes wide with surprise. The grounds of the Petit Trianon, once bustling with tourists, are now eerily quiet. The modern world with its familiar sights and sounds seems to have disappeared. In its place, the world of the 1700s comes alive, complete with its people, its buildings, and its queen. As they stand there caught between two eras, Moberly and Jourdain can hardly believe what they are experiencing. They are about to embark on an adventure that will question their understanding of reality. But their exploration took a turn when the reality around them seemed to change. Suddenly they weren't in 1901 anymore. With the blink of an eye, the world around Charlotte Ann Moberly and Eleanor Jourdain had transformed. The duo, who were merely exploring the Petit Trianon, found themselves standing amidst an era they had only read about in history books. The air was different, the colors more vivid, and the energy pulsating with an unfamiliar aura. They found themselves surrounded by people, not in the attire of the 20th century but the 18th. Men in waistcoats and tricorn hats, women in corsets and petticoats, all bustling about as if it were a typical day. The architecture, too, was not of their time. Around them stood the structures of the 1700s, elegant and grand, evoking a sense of majesty that was hard to ignore. Among the crowd, they spotted a woman sitting on the grass, engrossed in her sketching. But this was no ordinary woman. Dressed in a dress made of the finest silk, her hair piled high atop her head, was none other than Marie Antoinette, the last queen of France before the French Revolution. The sight of her, so real and so close, was nothing short of breathtaking. Moberly and Jourdain could hardly believe their eyes. They felt like intruders in a time that was not their own. They were outsiders, witnessing a world that had long passed, yet seemed so present. The air was filled with the sounds of the 18th century, the clatter of horse hooves, the hum of conversations, the rustle of silk. It was as if they had slipped through the fabric of time, stepping into a world that was supposed to be confined to the pages of history. As they stood there, awestruck and bewildered, the world around them began to fade. The sounds grew faint, the colors less vibrant, and the people began to disappear. And just like that, they were back in 1901. Standing in the grounds of the Petit Trianon, the modern world rushing back to them. As quickly as it started, it ended. They were back in their own time, left with an experience they could hardly believe. 10 years later, they decided to share their unbelievable adventure. The year was 1911, and Charlotte Ann Moberly and Eleanor Jourdain, two intrepid British teachers, decided to put pen to paper. They chronicled their extraordinary experience in a book aptly titled An Adventure. This wasn't your average travelogue. The book detailed an incident that was as perplexing as it was fantastical. It recounted their visit to the Petit Trianon, a small chateau on the grounds of the Palace of Versailles, where they claimed to have inexplicably slipped back in time to the 1700s. They described seeing people in period clothing, encountering structures that had long since ceased to exist, and even witnessing Marie Antoinette herself, engrossed in sketching on the grass. Their narrative was rich in detail, painting a vivid picture that transported readers back to the opulence and grandeur of 18th century Versailles. However, it wasn't just the content that was intriguing. The way they presented their account, with a steadfast conviction and earnestness, added an extra layer of intrigue to their tale. The book quickly caught the public's attention. Some readers were captivated, enthralled by the idea of time travel and the chance to glimpse into a bygone era. Others were skeptical, unable to wrap their minds around the concept of two ordinary women experiencing something so extraordinary. The reactions were polarizing, yet no one could deny the allure of their story. It sparked a wave of discussions, debates, and speculations. It wasn't just a book, it was a phenomenon, a cultural talking point that had everyone from academics to armchair detectives weighing in on the veracity of their claims. Despite the skepticism and scrutiny, Moberly and Jourdain stood by their account. They asserted that what they experienced that day in Versailles was real, not a figment of their imagination or a case of mistaken identity. As the story spread, so did the theories about what had happened to them. But one thing was clear: the tale of their adventure had firmly etched itself into the annals of mystery. Not everyone was ready to believe their tale. As is often the case with extraordinary claims, Moberly and Jourdain's account of their time-slip experience faced a fair share of skepticism. And let's be honest, a journey back in time is not an everyday occurrence, is it? One of the most common theories put forth by skeptics is the idea of a shared delusion, or folie à deux, a French term meaning madness of two. This psychological phenomenon occurs when two or more people share a delusion, influenced by their close relationship. Skeptics argue that Moberly and Jourdain, being close friends and colleagues, could have influenced each other's perceptions and memories of that day. In the excitement and confusion of being lost in a foreign place, they suggest, the pair may have misinterpreted their surroundings and the people they encountered. Another theory is that the teachers simply stumbled upon a fancy dress party. Versailles, being a popular tourist destination, often hosts events that include reenactments and period dress. Could it be that Moberly and Jourdain saw actors in period costume and mistook them for ghosts of the past? This theory, while somewhat less fantastical, still raises questions. Would a fancy dress party have included the detailed buildings and landscape they described, which hadn't existed since the 18th century? These theories, while plausible, lack concrete evidence. There are no records of a fancy dress party on that day, and there's no way to prove or disprove a shared delusion. Skeptics have also pointed out inconsistencies and potential exaggerations in Moberly and Jourdain's accounts, further muddying the waters. At the heart of the skepticism is a fundamental question: can we trust the reliability of human perception and memory, especially in extraordinary circumstances? This question, as well as the lack of concrete evidence, leaves room for doubt. The debate about the authenticity of their experience continues to this day. Whether you're a believer or a skeptic, one thing is certain: Moberly and Jourdain's adventure at Versailles remains a captivating tale of mystery and intrigue. Despite the skepticism, their story continues to captivate. In the face of doubt and questioning, the tale spun by Moberly and Jourdain has not lost its allure. Their story, a blend of history and mystery, has managed to survive over a century, intriguing people from various walks of life and sparking a plethora of debates. The story of their unusual journey back in time has been told and retold, each time with a different interpretation. The allure of the tale lies not just in its supernatural elements, but also in its rich historical context. The two women claim to have seen the Petit Trianon as it was in the 18th century, a time of opulence and grandeur, of revolution and change. For history buffs, their account provides a tantalizing glimpse into the past, a window into an era long gone. They get to visualize Marie Antoinette, the last queen before the French Revolution, leisurely sketching on the grass. It's the allure of the past, the charm of the bygone era that has kept this story alive, adding an extra layer of intrigue to the already mysterious Palace of Versailles. For mystery enthusiasts, the story poses an irresistible challenge. Was it a shared delusion or a slip through time? Or perhaps was it a mere fancy dress party mistaken for a ghostly encounter? These questions have sparked countless debates and analyses, breathing life into the tale with every passing year. The tale of the two British teachers and their adventure at the Petit Trianon has become a part of the rich tapestry of Versailles' history. It's a tale that has managed to transcend the confines of time, crossing over a century, and still holding the power to captivate and intrigue. Whether truth or illusion, their adventure at the Palace of Versailles remains a fascinating journey into the unknown.